We're with Brett Wahl from TaylorMade Golf here at the Kingdom, and we're talking about the new milled grind wedges.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me walk you through what's new and different about our wedge line this year. We have a whole new lineup. It's called MG Wedges, stands for Milled Grind. What's interesting is you see the sole contours, the sole geometry of this product is manufactured a little bit differently. As you can see by the marks on the sole, all these surfaces are 100% CNC milled. What this allows us to do is ensure that the shape, the bounce, the curvature, all the reliefs, the leading edge, all these sort of really important performance attributes of the wedge are controlled in a very precise and repeatable manner. So what that basically means is the first one we make to the last one we make, the sole grinds will be the same part after part after part. So this gives us a high degree of accuracy and precision, like I said, in the working part of the wedge. Because as we know with a wedge, the sole geometry really determines the performance of the club. Okay, so that's something that's a key performance technology. We're really proud of being able to introduce that in this new line. Again, those surfaces are usually done through a hand polishing operation. So grinders are there, they're polishing these soles. Each one turns out a little bit different. Sometimes they have a little bit over polishing, a little belly to the grind, a little asymmetry to the product. This new technology, milled grind, takes care of that, takes all that inconsistency out of the polishing process, makes a nice controlled, high quality sole grind. So that's the first very important thing to talk about with this product.
Okay, and going off of that, we can see the distinctive, sole grinds that are on it in a way that could help players maneuver shots more around the green, open and shut the face if they need to, a wider sole to really help get through the deep rough and the bunker lines.
Absolutely. So you're talking about, sort of fitting your wedges, choosing your sole grinds to fit your game, whether you're a steeper player, someone who takes a deeper divot, or maybe someone that's a bit more shallower, plays in different turf conditions. We now offer 3 distinct sole grinds, which are actually milled, but 3 distinct designs fit for 3 different golfers with 3 different angle of attacks. We call them LB, SB, and HB. So low bounce, high bounce, and standard bounce. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Again, if you're a steeper player, if you take a big divot, you might be interested in trying the high bounce option, right? That'll control your divot pattern a little bit, give you nice performance through the turf. You won't get stuck, you won't dig. Standard bounce has a nice heel relief to it. So when you open up the face and you're hitting that pitch or that flop shot, you'll get really strong performance from the standard bounce. Standard bounce is probably most suited for most golfers, and that's a good place to start when you come to this product. And then our low bounce option has a nice C grind to it. So the effective bounce is really close to the leading edge. It's in the first half of the sole. And again, this is good for someone who is either hitting a high variety of shots from different conditions, or someone who's typically a little bit shallower with their angle of attack and takes maybe not much of a divot. So the LB grind would be the place to start for that type of golfer.
Okay, and continuing just looking at it from this view, before we even touch on the face part, we could see these red dots, or the bore through hosel.
Absolutely. So again, a nice visual cue in this product adds to the overall industrial design of it, which is quite nice. But actually it's quite functional, this feature. So what it does is it removes weight from this area of the wedge and helps us redistribute that weight more centralized and a little bit higher in the club head. So by manipulating the CG from a position that's heelward and low to one that's more centralized and higher, that gives us a little bit better ball flight, helps generate a little bit more spin, a little bit more control in the flight of the wedge. So we're able to move about 5 to 10 grams of weight from this area. We also have a little bit deeper bore here, which we remove another 5 grams or so. And so all in all, that helps us really get a nice sort of optimized CG position in this product.
And when people hear those numbers, they probably don't think that's a lot. But when we're talking about, saving just grams, even if it's 2, 3, or 5, like you're saying with a different hosel design, that's a lot that gets to engineers get to play with to really help maneuver the weight and make something better performing.
That's true. That's true. We're in the day and age where there's a lot of engineering that goes into these products, and we're really optimizing the structure down to the last couple of grams, literally. We're fighting for that weight. We're fighting to get the CG, the mass properties of the head, just right, so that ultimately that performance will be there for the golfer.
Okay, now let's flip them over a little bit, or we can do one of them at least,
Sure,
and let's talk about the face, because we see a nice little grind on there as well.
Yeah, so this face is, again, entirely CNC milled. We do that to ensure, again, ultimately a flat, dead flat product, which is very important for a face. You can see the mill marks on this product, which is a sign of the process and also the quality that we put into it. The grooves themselves, again, another really important performance feature for a wedge is the groove geometry. We go ahead and we CNC mill in these grooves as well. The grooves this year are a little bit different than our previous faces. They're a little steeper in sidewall, and they're a little narrower overall.
Okay.
That has enabled us to get actually one extra groove on the face of this wedge. So we have 17 grooves on this wedge, one additional one, which gives you one additional edge when you're impacting the ball, which just helps generate a little bit more spin. So this groove has been changed in order to give you more consistency and performance, a little bit more spin overall. But again, precision milled leading edge, precision milled sole, all that comes together to produce a really precise and consistent product for us.
And obviously we're here at the Kingdom right now, and maybe you can see in the background there's some fittings going on. What's the reception been to players or everyday golfers that come to the Kingdom, or tour players that come in and take a look at these wedges?
The response has been really, really good around this new product. And what I've been really pleased about when I'm working with players up here and the tour pros that come through is people understand the technology right away. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see things in a product you don't really quite get what it's doing or why it's there. The reaction to the milled grind has been right away. People go, oh, I see. You're precisely controlling that geometry, making sure the bounce, the bevels, the reliefs are all 100% perfect. I get it. Of course I would want that in my wedge. It's a precision implement being designed for a precision task. So the reaction has been great to the fact that the technology is useful to the golfer. And then the next thing people notice, I think, is the overall aesthetic of the product. We've worked a lot to make it look technical, precise, premium, and so the reaction is very positive to that. A nice kind of satin chrome finish on this product. The shape of it also, as you look down on it from a dress, we spend a lot of time with the tour players making sure that these profiles are really dialed in. So in terms of the looks of the product, they sort of get the technology, the shape is right, the look is right, so they're very excited to hit it. And then after, of course, we do the testing and they get to experience the product, the performance feedback has been fantastic as well. Really controlled ball flight, high spinning, not too high of trajectory overall, and a really, really nice solid feel to the product as well.
Okay, and then one last one. The wedges from TaylorMade in the past have offered an ATV type of grind. These ones offer 3 different, the low bounce, the standard bounce, and the high bounce. Has there been any thought to extending it to an ATV type grind? Or for the player that's played the ATV wedges in the past, what would be the one that you would recommend for them?
Well, it's a good question about the ATV grind. That's something we have had for a few years, and it's quite popular for a number of players. Probably the one closest for an ATV player would probably be the low bounce option or maybe a standard bounce. Between those two, you're probably going to find a similar performance to what you're used to in ATV. I can tell you from an R&D perspective, though, we continually look at ways to make this product better and enhance the offering. So we're working in R&D on new bounces, new sole grinds that are going to add more versatility as we expand this line over time. I mean, this is a technology we're really excited about having, and it's going to be around for a while. And so we're looking on what's missing and what we could possibly add for the future, and ATV would be one of those.